Before this project, I had small experiences with filmmaking, but not in depth into a larger production. After coming up with ideas and agreeing on one within the group, we developed planning skills on to what our storyline would be for our film, learning and developing structure of plots to make them entertaining. Within Camera Workshop 1, I developed skills as to how to set up and use cameras like the Blackmagic 4K Mini Ursa, so well as setting up tripods and controlling basic features of the camera, such as the aperture and the focus of the object, and we also got to put in practice these new skills by testing them out when using the cameras. These skills then helped to film my own project with my group as I knew how to use the equipment, proving these skills to be especially useful because I was the DOP. Camera Workshop 2 was much more theoretical, learning about techniques such as the 180-degree rule and how it helped to avoid continuity errors, as well as important phrases to use when filming such as stand by, as these give structure to the filming process, ensuring no confusion will occur when filming with the different parties. This proved useful within our 2-minute opening sequence because if we did not use these phrases, for instance, as our project had so many people working with us, it would have been impossible to film anything. Our test shoot was our first real experience with filming our idea, giving us practical experience into which shots would work best for which moments of our film, giving us further insight into the work we would have to put in, as well as developing planning skills as to what would make sense and what would look good within our sequence. Editing Workshop 1 taught us the basics of using Adobe Premiere Pro, such as what rushes and bins are, and how each segment/window of the screen correlates to a different section of the software. I gained knowledge in editor terminology, which then proved useful for when our group edited our project later on, as before this I had no experience in editing on Adobe. Creating a mood board proved useful because it helped to conceptualize the designs within our idea, helping us spark more ideas in planning the shoot, developing this new skill further so that when we would design our plot in further detail, we would have a basis as to where we would need to start. Once we had the vague ideas for how the sequence would look like, we then started to plan in detail the different shots that we would use within our sequence. Zoe created a storyboard to make sure we would not forget these ideas for shots, as well as so we could use these storyboards for when we would actually film, because that way we would not forget anything. This taught us the importance of storyboarding, and just for extra clarity, Nat had also developed a second storyboard from photographs that we also used when making our product, therefore developing production skills and planning for the group. To develop further practical skills in production and filming, we had taken a prelim film task in which we would have to film a separate, shorter dialogue sequence. We learned many different things from doing this task, such as how to frame and position characters within our video, as well as the importance of 30 seconds of recorded room ambience for editing later on. For the prelim editing task that was done to edit our recorded prelim film task, I learned that to improve for our real project, our group would have to make sure not to overload the edit with too many close-ups, inserts, and different cuts. Insights into planning of a sequence were developed from this task, as well as the practical skills that were necessary to edit our real project because this task also helped refresh our memories on all of the editing skills we had been taught previously. Once these tasks were completed, the group then came together to organize and decide upon the costume/hair/makeup of our characters, the location/sets that we would film in, the props we would use, and the actors we would choose. Once planning was over, we also assigned who was going to organize and find which resources, which proved to be seemingly more difficult than first thought of because there were many different things to assign, and we wanted to balance out costs between everyone fairly. As we came closer to the day of our shoot, I chose to be camera operator. A shot list was designed by Kat that listed again in detail which shots we would use. However, we realized that it would prove difficult to plan different shots until we would actually get to our location, which by now we had decided to be Ewhurst. Overall, the shot list was important for the shoot, however a visual storyboard proved more useful. Ideas and plans were finally established, so after this we decided it was finally time to consult Mike and Matt for our ideas and plans. Areas of improvement were given to us, such as that we should utilize more perversion of normalities, making the killer closer to his victims than first imagined, therefore creating more discomfort and fear within the audience. This treatment presentation taught us the areas of improvement in our storyline to create more impact, developing further production skills and planning. We created a whole final summary plan to the mise-en-scène we would use in our sequence, solidifying everything we had established. I had taken 2 independent research tasks for my sequence, one on how to create fake blood for our sequence, the other being on how to film the fight choreography. These developed my planning skills for production even more. Finally, we also did research into roles on set and the different titles of similar slashers and horror films to our own sequence, creating more structure and clarity for when we would film and edit our sequence. After all of this, we then shot our actual sequence. Being the camera operator, all of the camera workshops and also the prelim filming task proved to be useful, especially when it came to the smaller, more technical things such as setting up the tripod or adjusting the focus on the subject we were filming. A behind-the-scenes video was also filmed during our shoot, which included different clips of the group working on filming the sequence. This helped to summarize and refresh our memories of the actual shoot, as well as providing the group more experience in filming and editing of videos. Finally, we had to edit our actual sequence. All of the editing workshops and experience we gained using Adobe Premiere Pro proved helpful and useful to us, because if we did not develop these editing skills for production before, our edits would have been much slower. The group had more experience as to what were the best clips to use in our sequence. As I am a music technology student, I also chose the soundtrack for our edit, which taught me about how to decide upon the best music to reflect the action on screen. Deciding upon a final name for the sequence once the edit was done proved to be time-consuming, with ideas ranging from Birdcage to Corvus, teaching us how many films already have taken such names, until finally the group had decided upon the name Pestilence. Thank you.